Somewhere behind your face, you assume, sits a viewer, watching the world arrive on a private screen. In 1991, a philosopher walked into that room and found it empty. The room has a name. Daniel Dennett called it the Cartesian Theater, the place where it all comes together, where the brain finally hands experience over to someone. For 3 centuries, the theater was so obvious it didn't need defending. Even scientists who rejected the soul kept the room. They simply moved the audience deeper into the skull. Dennett's claim is that the room does not exist. He proves it through experiments small enough to overlook. In a laboratory, a researcher flashes a red spot on a screen, then a green spot a short distance away. The eye does what eyes do. It fills the gap with motion. A single spot appears to glide across the screen. But the subject reports something stranger. The spot is red when it begins, green when it arrives, and it changes color in the middle of its journey. This should be impossible. The brain cannot know the second spot is green until light from it has arrived. So the color change cannot be inserted before the second spot is seen. And yet, in the subject's experience, it is. In another lab, mechanical tappers buzz a subject's arm. 5 taps near the wrist, 2 near the elbow, 3 on the upper arm. The subject does not feel taps. The subject feels a creature hopping up the arm in even steps. The wrist taps seem to march toward the elbow before the elbow has been touched. The brain is writing the past. It cannot have known what was coming. It rewrites the record so cleanly the seams do not show. The temptation, when faced with these puzzles, is to say the brain delays experience, buffers it, edits it, then projects the finished cut onto the inner screen. Dennett asks where the screen is. There is no finished cut. There is no inner screen. There is no audience. The brain spins many drafts of what just happened, in many places, all at once. And the question, when did this become conscious, turns out to be the question, when did the film reach the projector? There is no projector. There is no film. Multiple drafts, editing all the way down. Once the room is empty, the witness goes with it. And this is where Dennett's argument turns from physics to identity. He asks us to imagine a being he calls a Zimbo, a system that monitors its own activity, reflects on its reflections, builds higher and higher floors of self-representation. Put it in a conversation. Ask it what it feels. It will report inner experience. Ask it whether it is conscious. It will say yes, with exactly the conviction we have about ourselves. The being is wrong, the philosophers insist. But Dennett pushes back. The conviction of being conscious is itself a product of the machinery that monitors itself. We are the Zimbo. The voice that insists there must be someone home is the same voice that does the insisting. What then is the self? Dennett offers a beautiful answer. A physicist's center of gravity is not a thing. It is a point with no mass, no substance, no location you can dig up. Yet the calculations would not work without it. The self, he says, is the same kind of object, a center of narrative gravity. The brain spins stories about the body it wakes up in, the choices it remembers making, the future it imagines walking toward. And from those streams, a center emerges. Not a soul, not a homunculus, an abstraction that owns your car, your clothes, your body. Our tales are spun, Dennett writes, but for the most part, we don't spin them. They spin us. Thomas Nagel had asked in 1974 what it is like to be a bat, and concluded we could never know. Frank Jackson in 1982 imagined a scientist named Mary who knew every physical fact about color but had never seen red, and asked what she would learn when she finally saw it. The tradition treated these as proofs that something always escapes the explanation. Dennett's reply: every successful explanation leaves something out. Solids are explained by things that are not solid. Life is explained by things that are not alive. A theory of consciousness that still contains a box labeled consciousness has not begun. When the theater is empty, the question changes. Not what the witness is made of, but why the brain keeps insisting one is there, and whether, once you stop believing in the witness, anyone is left to notice.